What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new video. The NBA regular season is officially over. The playoffs are about to start. We have some teams that are playing in the playoffs, and of course we have other teams that are officially out of everything and are looking towards the offseason, the lottery, like the team we're about to do today. Today officially marks the start of our offseason realistic rebuild series. We'll be doing teams that are already eliminated in the draft lottery, and then we'll be doing teams as they get eliminated from the play-in and the playoffs until we do all 30 teams in the NBA. This series is going to be a lot of fun, so let's go ahead and start off today with the worst team in the league record-wise, the Detroit Pistons. Before we get into today's video, make sure you guys drop a like on this one, subscribe if you are new to the channel, as always, greatly appreciated. So yes, today is going to be the official start of our off-season realistic rebuild series, and like I mentioned, we are doing it with the Detroit Pistons to start things off. So we're actually going to be doing this series. I'm going to try to start off with injuries on. So we got Cade Cunningham hurt like he's supposed to. I do have like the injury frequency down a little bit because I don't want players getting injured like crazy, but we do have injuries on. The stepping rule will be on, so it's gonna be a little bit different than what you usually see from me. Like, I try to stay realistic, but I'm gonna try to bring some more realism into it if I could stick to it, because usually I have the stepping rule off because 2K doesn't allow you to access all your future draft picks like, you know, teams are actually allowed to do in real life, but we'll see how that goes. One thing we can do, this is also a tutorial in itself, because if you are using Start today, you probably noticed that 2K did not prompt you to load a draft class. So if you're not sure how to load a draft class, let me show you how you do that right now. So this is a tutorial plus a Pistons video. So you're just going to go to scouting, prospect scouting, and then you're literally just going to click the A button or the X button if you're on PlayStation, and you go to load, download draft class, and then I always use this top one. I always use Joda Kelmers, and that's it. So let's go ahead and start this series, and just like that, you have your draft class. So I'm going to simulate these playoffs, and we're going to get started, of course, with the Pistons in the draft lottery. Today's video is brought to you by Ewin Racing. Just for a second, I want you to look at this chair they sent me. Ewin Racing, by the way, send me this. Look at it. Just look at it. Honestly, super cool. Black and yellow, really cool colors. And you got the headrest. You got a nice lumbar support pillow down here as well. And you got a nice little design right here. It's got 2D armrests. I don't know if you can see them. No, you can't. Let me back up. 2D armrests. It's also got glittering PU leather. This thing is heavy duty and can hold up to 400 pounds, which is insane. And one more thing it can do, if you want, if you just want to chill, I wish I could do videos like this, but you wouldn't be able to see me. I can just literally lay all the way back, and I'm literally just vibing here. Like, I can literally just, if I want to do videos like this, it would be kind of weird because you could probably barely hear me right now, but chair is super dope. So not only did Ewin Racing send me a chair, they also hooked me up with a 20% off code that I can give to you guys. Link to that will be down in the description below. If you want to go check it out, ewinracing.com. Go check out some of the chairs they have to offer. If you find a chair, you can use my code Crushables, 20% off. Thank you, Ewin Racing, for sponsoring today's video. So the Celtics actually came out and won the championship on top of the Clippers in 5 games. So that would be an interesting finals. If you look at retirements, you have like LeBron James and Chris Paul retiring. I obviously don't see that happening. Neither do I see Kyle Lowry retiring. But other than that, we can go straight to the lottery, because this is going to be a pretty important step in the process of this offseason realistic series. So, or in this video at least, because the Pistons, of course, are well in the lottery. So let's just go ahead, jump right in, and let's see if we have some lottery luck on our side today, as we are projected the #1 overall pick. Because like I mentioned, the Pistons have the worst record in the league. So we're going to sit back, watch this whole thing. I believe this is going to be the Lakers pick, and that is going to be the Lakers pick. The Pelicans with that pick swap. So the Pelicans get the 14th overall pick in the lottery. You got the Raptors, who also didn't make the playoffs. You got the Raptors at 13. Number 12, as long as no one's jumping up, it looks like the Thunder may have fell out of the play-in, which kind of sucks as well, which I'm very, very excited for some play-in games tomorrow. So we got Orlando at number 11. That is going to stay that way. So far, so good. Of course, it's a long time from now. I think the worst we can drop to, if I'm not mistaken, is number 5. So hopefully we don't drop to 5. Mavericks are going to get the 10th overall pick. Number 9, you're going to have the Utah Jazz. Let's see if they stick. I'm starting to get a little nervous the closer we get to the top, because of course, someone jumps up. That's bad news for us. Indiana, number 8. They are going to stay at 8. So far, so good, which means we might be in the top 4 unless someone drops here or jumps up here. Wizards. Okay, I think we're in a good spot. Number 6, let's see what we have going on here. That's going to be Orlando. I think this is going to be, or no, never mind. This is Orlando's pick. So far, So good. I'm pretty sure literally no one jumped up. So we might be in the top 3 100%. Unless if Portland jumps up here from number 5 to 1 or something, and they did. So Portland has jumped up into the top 4. Hopefully that means we're in the top 3 still. And at number 4, we are going to have the Spurs get 4. It's going to be very, very interesting if I get... Actually, no. I'm okay with this. 3 or 2, I would be fine with. Hopefully we get 1, because that'd be like just a banger start, of course. So we have 1 or 2 in our hands right now. Do we get the number 1 overall pick is the question. Will it be Portland or Detroit with the number 1 overall pick? And it is going to be the Blazers who get the number 1 overall pick. So just like that, the Portland Trailblazers have won the lottery to start. You know how happy I would be as a Blazers fan to win the lottery like that? It would make it all worth it. But of course, we're not the Blazers today. We are the Detroit Pistons. So let's go ahead, go to the draft. And I'm pretty sure you guys, and then Dwayne Casey, of course, has been fired as well. So we can do that. I'll fire him. I'll get ourselves a new head coach. I'll see you guys on draft night where the next move will commence. For our first move of this Pistons offseason video, we are going to be trading Bojan Bogdanovic. You could probably imagine why we're doing this. We're about to draft his replacement. You probably already know who that's going to be. So Bojan Bogdanovic is going to be sent to the Oklahoma City Thunder for 27. The Thunder already have enough developmental players. So if they could just bring in like a veteran guy like Bojan for a 27th overall pick that belongs to Denver, and then they ship out Kenrich Williams, I don't think they'd be too upset with that. So just like that, Oklahoma City is going to go towards more of a win now mode, I would imagine. So this could make some sense for them. So they're only giving up 27 in Williams, and they're getting Bojan. So that's going to be the first trade that we do. Another thing that we did with our staff is we actually, if I could say it correctly, we hired Chauncey Billups as our head coach. I saw a rumor on Twitter about it that Chauncey could go coach the Pistons. I don't know how true that is. It probably won't happen, but I did do that just so you guys are aware of that. So if we could go check it out, Detroit Pistons. Yeah, so we hired Chauncey Billups. So Chauncey Billups is back in Detroit. He's our head coach now. I don't imagine he leaves Portland, but we'll see. Hopefully he does. I don't even like him as a head coach really, as a Blazers fan, but whatever. So we have 27 and 2, and then we might have another one if I'm... No, we only have 27 and 2, and then we have an early second as well. So you guys already know what I'm going to do with this second overall pick. So let's just see what the Blazers decide to do. They are going to take Vic, of course. So of course we could take Scoot Henderson, which makes a lot of sense, but we do have Ivy and Cade Cunningham already as a backcourt. So it would make things pretty awkward, and there has been some things said about Brandon Miller potentially passing up Henderson as a prospect. So yeah, Detroit here with the second overall pick. I think Brandon Miller makes way too much sense. We're going to be taking Brandon Miller to add him next to Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey, and that's going to be honestly awesome. And now we can go to 27, and let's see what else we got on the board. So you have like Carson Wallace, Derek Lively, Isaiah Wong. We're starting to get to the point of the draft where I probably don't know a ton, so I'm just going to draft someone random here. So I'll take Carson Wallace, just take the youngest player. I guess he wasn't the youngest, but one of the younger ones. And at number 31, we have like Derek Lively still on the board as well. We do have some center depth as it is, but I'll go ahead and take him. 18 years old, why not? So bring him in. And just like that, that was our draft. We walk away with Brandon Miller and also walk away with Carson Wallace. And then, of course, we walked with Derek Lively in round 2. So feel pretty good about how that draft went for us. Bring all these guys in. And then player options, you're going to have Alec Burks, team option. I'm going to decline it, and then Stewart will be back. James Wiseman, Cade Cunningham, Killian Hayes, RJ Hampton, Livers. I'll bring all those guys back. Qualifying offers, Jared Rhoden is a free agent. Don't know much about him, so probably won't worry about him too much. Then free agency, you have Alec Burks, who's a free agent for us, who I don't think I'll be bringing back. And then Ronnie Magruder, also a free agent. If we take a look at our current rotation as it currently sits, we got Cade Cunningham. Killian Hayes has played decently well in the absence, of course, Cade Cunningham all year. He's on the last year of his contract, so it could be interesting to maybe move him since we just drafted Carson Wallace, who will be under contract for 4 years, and he's literally the same overall already. So my look to do that potentially, we shall see. We have Jaden Ivey and then RJ Hampton. You got Brandon Miller at the small forward, Bagley, Isaiah Stewart, and Kenrich Williams. So I think I can immediately move Kenrich Williams to the small forward, so he'll be nice depth there. So he'll stay the same. So I like him as a backup 3 for us. You're going to have Bagley, Isaiah Stewart, which is just fine. And then center, you have Duran and Wiseman. So yeah, it'll be interesting what we do with them. We'll just have to see who blossoms more. So I think I do want to bring in like a veteran presence in free agency as well. Maybe off the bench as just like a kind of someone who could just lead the team a little bit if we need a veteran leader. So I'm going to try to do that real quick. So shooting guard wise, we have guys like Clarkson. We have like an Oubre, Gary Trent, Austin Reeves, Caris LeVert, DiVincenzo. So Clarkson could make some sense as like a 6-man here for Detroit. Kind of wouldn't mind that. And then we can maybe move him later down the line if we need to. Kuzma, Miles Bridges, Draymond Green, and then you have like Brook Lopez, Vucevic, Chris. We don't need a center whatsoever. Bridges, we don't really have a forward. Our forward positions aren't really figured out at this moment. Or Brandon Miller's figured out. That's locked in. Bagley and Stewart, I'm not really sure if I love either of them as a starting power forward going forward. So we shall see about that one. So power forwards, Draymond Green. Now it has been talked about the potential of Draymond Green going to Detroit. It could make some sense. We could bring him in as a leader. I wouldn't want to commit to him long term, but it definitely could be like interesting in bringing a guy like Draymond Green on this team. So I might do it. It would be kind of interesting to do. It's not someone I go for very often, but of course, him being from this area, or he went to college here, I guess I should say, Michigan State, or at least close enough. So you know what? I'm going to splurge on Draymond Green a little bit. I don't want to commit to him though. So I'm going to go 1 year +1. I could see a world where Draymond, of course, is not on the Warriors. And, I mean, there's going to be some teams, but I think Detroit is one of those teams that would maybe pay him. So I'm going to do that. Not going to commit to him long term. So I'm going to sign Draymond Green as a veteran presence here in Detroit. I think it honestly could go a long way. So I'm going to bring in Draymond to be our brand new power forward. I honestly love it. And then, is there anything else I want to do? Like I said, Killian Hayes is somebody we'll probably look to trade at the deadline. And then we have Williams, we have Draymond, Bagley, Stewart, and then Wiseman, Duren. So I think we're good. Honestly, I'm pretty okay with this. We could bring in another shooting guard. Probably wouldn't mind that too much. I have like DiVincenzo, Gordon, or even like a Beasley. Bringing him in, he could definitely be really nice off the bench. Bruce Brown used to play in Detroit. But I'm going to go with Malik Beasley on a 2-year deal. Streaky shooter, but he could come in and knock down some shots when we need him to. And that will be our offseason. Not a whole lot to it. Bringing in Brandon Miller and then having a veteran like Draymond Green come in. He already goes down in overall, which I wasn't surprised by. But like I said, I think his presence would be definitely needed. So I'm excited to have him. Even if he's just here for 1 year, I think it's going to be a good use of our money, at least in, obviously in 2K. What? Wait, what? Did he play in Summer League? How did James Wiseman get hurt? That makes literally no sense. Okay, I guess he played in Summer. Okay, I guess he was out for the season in Summer League. That definitely scared me. I was like, how is Wiseman getting injured? And then he was, okay. Well, he's back. That's fine. He's back to health. All right, so let's go look at our rotation. And let's see what we're working with. I don't know if we'll make the playoffs this year. I would love to see this team make the play-in and make like a jump here. But let's see what we got. So, starting 5, rotationally, we're going to be Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Brandon Miller. Love those 3. These 3 are locked in. Duren, I would love to have him locked into the center position as well. Draymond Green, he's only going to be here for maybe a year or 2. Wiseman, Bagley, Stewart, and then Malik Beasley, and then Terrence Williams. And then Killian Hayes, I think he's earned some minutes somewhere. So, I'm going to push this down to an 11-man rotation. And then at the deadline, we'll probably be looking to make some moves to move some guys because we definitely have a lot of depth here. There's no need to have all these guys, kind of not getting minutes. So as far as our proficiency, I think we should stick with the perimeter centric. So I'm going to run with that. I will see you guys at the deadline to potentially move on from Killian Hayes since we do have a younger point guard at the same overall, and he'll probably develop a little bit faster and we won't have to pay him as much. So that'll probably be the move we do for sure, but we shall see where we're at once we get to the deadline. So we are stopped at the trade deadline, and like I mentioned, I do want to make some moves here at the deadline, and I have a guy in mind that I think I want to bring in that's going to be kind of perfect for what we want going forward. So I went around the league, and of course, like I usually do, I'm looking at team intel, and I'm kind of seeing where teams are feeling where they're at. So my main priority here is to get a good player at this deadline, because right now we're currently 28 and 26. Cade Cunningham starting to catch a stride a little bit, and we are currently in the playoff race. So I want to maximize our chances of making it. So I'm looking at, around the league and kind of seeing where teams are feeling. And the guy I really want, and we have the money to match it perfectly, is on the Utah Jazz. And you guys probably already know who that is. Lauri Markkanen. I think Lauri Markkanen would be an amazing acquisition. I don't know what Utah is playing with him. Like, of course, he's going to be great for the future potentially, but if they did decide to move him, which is still definitely possible, especially in the last year of his deal where they're maybe not going to commit to him long term, I think he could be a very, very good piece to bring in here to Detroit. And like I said, I think we have the money to match it perfectly. I have a couple guys in mind that I think they might like as well. So we have Jalen Duren and James Wiseman here, and right now Jalen Duren is locked up on a very good rookie contract. James Wiseman, on the other hand, is on the last year of his rookie deal. And I just don't know if I can really afford to pay both Wiseman and Duren. And Wiseman, I feel like, deserves to have a good opportunity. He may not have the best opportunity in Utah because they do have Walker Kessler, but maybe they could get weird and have Wiseman and Kessler play together. I don't know, but that's their problem. So I'm going to go Wiseman and Killian Hayes here, who is another guy that maybe Utah could believe in if they think they could develop him into something. So I'm going Wiseman and Killian Hayes, and oddly enough, this like literally matches lawyer marketing his contract like perfectly. So I'm hoping with Wiseman and Hayes, and I think since both of these guys may not have the best opportunity in Utah, I would assume Utah would want to be sweetened a little bit more with another contract or with another pick. So I am going to try to offer another future pick, and it looks like I can't trade 2025, I guess. So I'm going to trade 2026, an unprotected pick. That way they have a little bit more like incentive to accept it. So Wiseman, Killian Hayes, 2 young players on the last year of the rookie deals, just like Markkanen's on the last year of his contract. So this is the offer I'm going to make to Utah, and they do accept. And just like that, we have Lauri Markkanen. Now, it's going to be a little weird as of right now because we do have like Draymond Green right now at that power forward spot. You have Brandon Miller at the 3. I don't want to stop Brandon Miller's growth. So I'm going to be moving Markkanen to the 4, and Draymond Green will be coming off the bench for us. It could make some sense to move Draymond now as well, since we just found his replacement, I guess, who I think is going to fit a lot better anyway. So Markkanen is going to be our new power forward. So maybe I could look to move Draymond here at the deadline if it does make sense. If not, we can just decline his team option in the offseason, and that's that. So if there's anything, so like Miami, for instance, they're offering me Kyle Lowry and a first. I mean, I guess if they were like just so desperate to have anybody that they'd get rid of Kyle Lowry in a first-round pick, but I don't know if teams are really wanting like a Draymond Green for a first. So I think the realistic way to do this, and imagine the Warriors just traded back for him, I think the best way to do this is just let him walk in the offseason. He'll play here for a year, and then he'll, you know, sign wherever else on maybe like a cheaper contract. So Wallace is going to jump up in the rotation a little bit now, which I'm excited about, and that will be our rotation now for the rest of the season. So with Lauri Markkanen being brought in, Draymond hits the bench. Bagley is going to be also probably, and then he might actually be moving to center a little bit, or Draymond, because we don't have a backup center. Draymond would stay the same, and then Bagley would stay the same. I mean, I guess technically Bagley's taller, so I'll move him to like a backup center role right now, and that will be that. So I will simulate the rest of the season, 20 and 26. Hopefully this team finishes up as a playoff team in the East after adding Lauri Markkanen to the mix. So Luka wins MVP as a Dallas Maverick, Wembanyama Portland Rookie of the Year, Jordan Poole is your 6th man, Kessler Defensive Player, Garland Most Improved, and Joe Mazzulla is your Coach of the Year, and Park is your Executive. So here's your All-NBA first team, All-NBA second, All-NBA third, All Defense first team, and All Defensive second team. One thing I'm very, very excited about is that we're in the play-in. So honestly, it's a huge step in the right direction for this Detroit roster. It sucks that we were the 6th seed at one point and then kind of fell out. Jalen Duren is hurt right now with left shin splints. But Markkanen, Jaden Ivey, and Cade Cunningham kind of laid out the foundation for us, and we are in the play-in. So let's go ahead and see if we can find a way out of it. We have 2 chances at this. Miami, we could have made a trade with them at the deadline. I decided not to. I guess they did need a power forward, and maybe they could have moved like Cameron Payne to their starting point guard. I guess this is what they were going for, but I didn't make that trade with them. So let's see if we can get past Miami, and we do beat them. So just like that, we have made the playoffs, and we get to play the Atlanta Hawks in round 1. So this is a really good step in the right direction as a franchise for us. So hopefully we can maybe give Atlanta a couple games, or we can take a couple games from Atlanta. So let's just see how this goes. Is everyone fully healthy? And Jalen Duren is hurt, but he is still playing. So I guess that's that. I'm going to shrink my rotation, though. We don't really need to play an 11-man. I don't know why I played an 11-man rotation in the play-in. Beasley and Hampton and Wallace are all going to be left out, unfortunately. But that's just going to be how it goes. So game 1, we are down 1-0, 129 to 117. I would love to just get like a couple on them if I can. We're going to go down 2-0, and we're down 3-0. So unfortunately for us, we do get swept, but it is still a very good playoff experience. It definitely sucks we couldn't get like a couple games on them. But Atlanta is one of those teams that's kind of annoyingly overpowered. And you got Atlanta just like literally, did they even lose? They didn't even lose a game in the playoffs, bro. That's just how you know Atlanta is not like, they're not that guy. And they just didn't lose. They won 16-0 in the playoffs. That's just 2K, man. It makes no sense. So at the start of the offseason, we have Cade Cunningham, Lauri Markkanen, Ivy Duren, and then Draymond Green's team option. I'm going to decline it. That's $28 million worth. I could bring him back, of course, but he's probably going to go down in overall even more. So yeah, I think it makes sense to just let him go. So I'm going to decline Draymond Green, and we're going to have Livers Stewart, not to combine their names, Livers Stewart and Hampton as free agents. So we'll have to make some decisions on them, but free agency, we have Stewart. Do I have cap space? I know I just brought in Lauri Markkanen, but there's a chance I still have a little bit of money, and I do have like $32 million in cap space right now. So we can sign a max free agent. Right now, we have Cade Cunningham and Wallace as our point guard duo, which is why we moved on from Killian Hayes, because Wallace is on a rookie deal. He's going to be locked up for 3 more years, and he's going to keep progressing, so it made sense. Beasley locked him in as a shooting guard, so I like that. I definitely want to keep Brandon Miller as my starting small forward, but we shall see how that goes. And then we have Markkanen at the 4, and we have Duren and Bagley at our 5 position right now. So I'm okay with that as my rotation. So Markkanen's locked in. Brandon Miller's locked in. Or is he, is the question. So if you have this much money, it could make some sense to sign a free agent. So you have like Kawhi Leonard, who we could get. We have Jaylen Brown. We have Halliburton. We have Edwards. We have Maxey, Murray, Paul George, Siakam. If we wanted to make like a leap here, we could sign someone. We definitely could. OG Anunoby could bring him in, and we have the money to do so. Kuzma, Tobias, only wants 16 million. So let's see. Shooting guards, we have Desmond Bane, which would be wild. But I think the position I would replace the most is the small forward spot, because I've seen in the past where Brandon Miller doesn't develop as quickly as you'd want him to. It would be fun to bring in like a Claxton as well, to kind of have a Duran-Claxton duo. But I mean, we just kind of saw that problem with Wiseman, and I said I didn't want to pay Wiseman, so I don't know. Jaylen Brown, though, is definitely looking kind of interesting. If we wanted to go like on an actual leap, we would have to trade someone, though, to dump that money off. If I could bring Jaylen Brown into Detroit, it's something you got to think about. So Brandon Miller, do I want to wait on him to develop? How'd he do in this rookie year? I kind of don't want to do anything crazy, because I would love to just let this team develop and blossom. But it is definitely fun to think about, you know, spending the money a little bit. So I guess if I were to trade anybody, it'd probably be Kenrich Williams, where I could dump him off, and then I could definitely sign like a Jaylen Brown right now onto this team. So I guess I should give myself that option. So I'm going to start this offseason with a Kenrich Williams trade. He's a really solid role player and a really good contract. Even Beasley also could be another guy, but since I am going to be trading, or since Beasley is going to be our backup shooting guard, I'm going to move on from Kenrich Williams. So Bradley, I would like to just get like a second round pick if I could, and like not take on any money in return. So the Jazz are offering me 2 firsts. Of course, that makes no sense for them to do something like that. The Pacers are offering me a first for him. I guess you could say Williams could maybe be worth the first, but I'm not going to take a first from anybody. So I guess if the Pacers were looking to maybe like jump up a little bit, I'll take a second off of them, but like a top 10 protected pick is crazy. So we just like swap seconds, and we just take on like a younger player, or even just this, like something like this, where they just take on the money for us. I'm gonna do something like that, and that gives us the ability to offer Jaylen Brown a contract. And you know what? I'm gonna do it. Why not? Jaylen Brown could come into Detroit and literally help this team out. We're not gonna get him. It was worth a shot, though. Definitely worth a shot. Kawhi Leonard, I think he's a little too old for my liking. We got like Murray down here. Paul George also could be an interesting veteran presence, but same kind of thing. Chris Middleton, of course, was in Detroit once upon a time. Miles Bridges. Another one is OG. I could bring in OG Anunoby, who literally has no offers right now. He's got 13 points per game, 42% from 3. I mean, yeah, why not? We just dump that money, and we have the ability to use our money. I don't see why not. Let's go and give OG Anunoby an offer. If we can't get Jaylen Brown, the next best bet, let's get OG Anunoby out of the roster. And Jaylen Brown's going to go to Toronto. So OG Anunoby is going to be our signing in free agency. We paid the hell out of him. And maybe, you know, maybe a contender would pay him that much, but I don't know if a lot of teams would pay OG that much money. So he comes to Detroit just like Jeremy Grant did because of the money. And Brandon Miller, as much as I wanted him to be our guy, I'm going to have OG Anunoby play at that small forward spot for him. And they can kind of compete for it. Maybe down the line we trade OG if we need to. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. We used our money while we had it. And now we have OG Anunoby locked in for 4 years. We got guys come back in the qualifying offer. You have OG already hurt, cut on the head. Where did that come from? He's out for the season because of a cut on his head. Jalen Duren, and then Jaden Ivey's jumping up. Brandon Miller, he just doesn't develop, which is why my biggest concern was, which is why I even signed OG in the first place, because I've seen that in the past where Brandon Miller just doesn't develop like Wembanyama and Scoot Henderson do. So yeah, I'm feeling good about that. We got Brandon Miller, OG. So even if Brandon Miller hits the bench, I think it'll be just fine. We used our money wisely. And now we can go into this next season with the expectations of potentially being like a top playoff team. That's kind of where we're at this point. The expectations are getting a little bit higher. They're creeping up a little bit. Went from the play-in to the playoffs. And now we can kind of hopefully, you know, solidify ourselves as a contender maybe. So here's your starting 5. Cade Cunningham, Ivey, OG, Markkanen, Jalen Duren, Bagley, Brandon Miller, Carson Wallace, Malik Beasley. Honestly, very solid proficiency. Sitting at a 4-star. So hopefully this team can find a way to jump up into the top 4 seeds of the East right here. Ja Morant wins MVP. Booker's your rookie of the year in Utah, so they got another big in Utah. But he's playing power forward, so I guess that works. Markelle Fultz, 6-man. Joel Embiid, defensive player. And then Killian Hayes in Washington wins most improved. So he goes from Utah to Washington, and then Quinn Snyder is your coach of the year for the Atlanta Hawks. So the Hawks, still that team in the East. Ja Morant, Luka, Tatum, Giannis, Jokic. Here's your NBA second team. Got Steph, Garland, who is injured right now. Kevin Durant, Zion, Embiid. And here's your NBA third team. Wembanyama, Mobley, Butler, Ball, and Trae Young. All defense first team. and all defensive second teams. So no Pistons representatives, but we did get the third seed in the East, and we get to play Toronto, which is kind of poetic because, of course, OG gets to play his former team. But right now we have Jalen Duren, who's hurt, and then OG Anunoby is also hurt. So hopefully they find themselves healthy here soon. But Cunningham, Jaden Ivey took another leap, 22 points per game. He went from 17 to 22, which is great. Jalen Duren, honestly amazing. 2 blocks, 11 rebounds, 16 points. And then Marketing with 15 as well, 12 from Miller, and then 11 from Carson Wallace, who took Keelan Hayes' role, 11 from OG, and then 9 from Bagley, and then 6.5 from RJ. So here we go, Toronto. Let's see what they're looking like at this point. So yeah, Fred VanVleet, they got Jaylen Brown. That's right. So that, oh, they got Claxton as well. They don't have Siakam anymore, though, but definitely an interesting root tool for Toronto where they kept Fred, got Brown, and got Claxton, and they have Barnes, Boucher. Yeah, kind of an interesting roster that Toronto has going for them. So let's see how it goes. Game 1, we're down 1-0. Do we even have these guys playing for us? So yeah, right now, Brandon Miller was starting, which is fine. But I definitely want to have OG back in there. So everyone is healthy. So hopefully we can even it up in game 2. We do. 124 to 98, 30, 11, and 12. W, 38 from Jaylen Brown. Game 3, we're down 2-1, 114 to 106. Game 4, we even it up, 144 to 130. So it's a back and forth game. Cade Cunningham was great. Ivy is injured right now, which definitely doesn't help our case, but we shall see. Game 5, we're down 3-2. Not great. 21 from Markkanen, and then unfortunately Cade Cunningham kind of out of a bad game. But game 6, do we even it up? We do not. We get eliminated in round 1. So we went from a 3rd seed to getting upset by the 6th seed. Not where you want to be. And then Atlanta is almost lost to Toronto, but they lost to the Cavs. You have Cavs versus Warriors, and the Cavs are going to go on and win a championship. So at this point, it's mainly re-signing everyone. I think we got our kind of a rotation locked in. I don't think we have a lottery pick. Hawks get the number one overall pick via the Kings, which is insane that they get to add another good player to that team. So there's a chance we don't win a championship in this video just because of that. So that is going to be rough because Atlanta is already overpowered as it is, and they're going to add someone else in the mix. Yeah, not great. So I think the main thing this offseason is I'll just be re-signing guys. So once we get to that re-signing stage, I will show you guys that. And it's just a matter of running it back until we maybe get lucky. And if we can never get lucky, that's just how it is. So this team is about to get it pretty expensive pretty quickly. So Cunningham, Markkanen, and Bagley are all free agents. So of course, I'm going to prioritize Markkanen and Cade Cunningham. So I'm going to go ahead and give Markkanen his contract. We traded for him for a reason. I'm committed to him. So I'm going to sign him. I'm not going to renounce Bagley just yet. We're going to wait on that. And it's wanting me to renounce Cade Cunningham, and you're absolutely insane if you think I'm going to do that. So Cade Cunningham is still not going to offer, but we're about to pay him as well. I'm not going to renounce Malik Beasley either because I might bring him back. So let's give Cade Cunningham his 5-year deal, which he rightfully deserves. We got Markkanen locked in already. So I'm going to sign Cade Cunningham to his deal. So he's locked in. So we got Cade Cunningham, Markkanen locked up. So we're committed to our core that we have. So Ivy, Cunningham, and then Jaden Ivey will be next, which he'll be literally next year, I believe. So yeah, this team's about to get expensive. So we got to get, it's going to be interesting to see how we're going to keep this all together. So right now we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we literally need 2 bench pieces. So let's see what we can do. So as far as Bagley is concerned, he wants 15 million. It's going to be tough to commit to that. It's going to be tough, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and give Bagley a nice little deal. We're going to give him a 3-year deal to be our backup center going forward. And then shooting guards, we got Chris Duarte. I'm going to stick, or even RJ, bring him back, but that's just a little too much. Beasley doesn't want that much money, though, so I'm going to give him a 2-year deal. So he'll be locked in on only $5 million per 2 years, which is going to be a great contract for us. And then we can sign like another good player as well, but do we want to? Yeah, I might sign a power forward because we're going to need the depth because, of course, guys get injured. So need someone pretty cheap, though. So we got like Derek Jones Jr. On a minimum, we'll do that, something like that. And then we can maybe sign like another backup point guard. We got like Schroeder out here, or even Devontae Graham, or even like Dasumu, who maybe gets signed to like a 1-year deal just for depth if we need it. So I'll sign Dasumu, and I'll sign Derek Jones, and Derek Lively should be back as qualifying offer. That'll be more depth, and that'll be our re-signing free agency. So let's go ahead and head to next season, where hopefully this team is ready to potentially get out of round 1, because that's definitely something we need to do. So another season comes to an end, and we finished up as a 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference. So we actually ended up 63-19 on the season, tied with the Atlanta Hawks. So it looks like there's a gigantic gap between Atlanta and Detroit compared to the rest of the East. I don't know about the West, even kind of compared to the West. 63-19 for both these teams. So we did pretty damn good. Will that lead to some success in the playoffs? I sure hope so. 24 from Cade, 23 from Ivy, 16 and 10 from Durant, and then 15 from Markkinen, 15 from Brandon Miller, which is nice to see, 12 from Wallace, and then 9 from OG Anunoby. Paying him a ton of money, but I mean, as long as he's playing great defense, I guess I can't be too upset. But hopefully we can get out round 1. That's my biggest thing. My biggest goal here is get out round 1. Orlando does have a good team in front with them, which scares me a little bit, but we went 63 and 19. So hopefully we can just take care of them and we beat them in 5. So we're out of round 1. That's amazing. Now we get to play Toronto. So hopefully we can get past Toronto, who actually eliminated us last year. They have kind of that same core. They don't have Chris Boucher anymore. They have Jet Howard down here though. So here we go. Game 1, we're down 1-0. Game 2, we even it up. I would love to get past Toronto, man, but they're just giving us problems. Down 3-1, and we're going to lose to Toronto. So this is another year where we just get eliminated. So we went from round 1 to round 2. Maybe next season would be the magic we need. Atlanta's going to go on to win the championship because they're just stupidly annoying. But I'm running it one more year. One more year we're running this team. I'm going to have to resign Jaden Ivey. But I think everyone else is pretty much locked into a contract. I'm pretty sure. I think my rotation, other than like Derek Jones, DeSumo, but everyone else is locked in right now. I'm going to resign Jaden Ivey, running it back one more year. Just one more. So if we lose, we lose. So losing to Toronto, were we injured? We must have been injured, right? I mean, it doesn't tell me now, but maybe we were injured in some of those games. I don't know. But Toronto's gotten the best of us, unfortunately. So we'll have to see if there's anything we can do, but I think it's just going to be a matter of relying on progression. Man, it sucks we didn't get Jaylen Brown, because we got Jaylen Brown. Maybe the story would have been different, but yeah, we got a big offseason ahead of us as far as just resigning Jaden Ivey. I will see you guys in next year's playoffs, where we should be there anyway. I hope so. I don't know why we wouldn't be. So once again, we finished the season with a 61 or 60 win record team, I guess, 60 plus. We got the 61-21 record, Atlanta 65-17. What does Atlanta even look like at this point? So they got Trae Young, Murray, AJ Griffin, Collins, Trey Johnson as well off the bench, which is what they got the #1 overall pick. So yeah, pretty good team in Atlanta. I'm hoping we see them. I really am. I'm sure we'll lose to them, but at least we got there. Brandon Miller has stepped up into the starting 5, it looks like, so that's cool to see. But now we get to play Charlotte in round 1. So I'm going to be clicking LaMarcus Aldridge II. What the heck? Does he have a son? That's kind of crazy. I'm not going to lie, but okay. Hopefully we don't lose to LaMarcus Aldridge II. They got Nasir Cunningham, LaMelo. But we have the better Cunningham. They also have Sadiq Bey. So hopefully Sadiq Bey doesn't get like, revenge against his former team. So I'm going to curve around against Charlotte, and we are going to beat them in 5. So we're out of round 1. We got out of round 1 last year. Now we get the Knicks. We don't have to deal with Toronto this time either. Knicks have Proctor, Mitchell, RJ, Ware, and Gobert. Gobert just punched his teammate, so hopefully we can punch him and lose him, or make him lose in round 2. Please get out of round... Oh, I was about to say, please get out of round 2. And we have finally made it to the conference finals. But unfortunately for us, we run into the team that's been dominating, and that is the Atlanta Hawks. So Murray is hurt though right now, which is honestly really good. Let's see. I don't know how much he's hurt, or I think he might be entering the rotation because it doesn't look like he's hurt anymore. But we'll see. Game 1. We're down 1-0, 139-114. Did Murray play? He did not. I don't see DeJounte Murray. So maybe he's out for the season. I have no idea. What is my rotation looking like? I'm going to go with 8-man rotation. 8-man rotation. Let's play our 8 best players. Let's give ourselves the best chance here. So here we go. Can we win game 2? We do not. Game 2, down 2-0. So game 3, big game here. We are going to go down 3-0 to Atlanta. And unfortunately, with Atlanta draft... Ooh, wait a minute. Just kidding. So we lose in 5, and Atlanta is just going to win another championship unless the Blazers can take them down. Hey, Wembanyama, can you get my man Dame a championship here against the Hawks? And he does. Hawks go down. The Blazers have won the championship. Wembanyama is your finals MVP. But we lose in 5 to Atlanta, and I don't think we're ever going to beat them. So I'm going to end it off on that note. Unfortunately for us, we got all the way to the conference finals, but never could get the actual finals. So I'm going to end it off on that note. I've been recording for an hour already on this video, even though it may not seem like it. But I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode of the off-season realistic series. This one was a lot of fun. Fortunately, didn't get the ultimate goal, but you don't get it every single time. I'm going to end it off that note, and we're going to do, I think, the Spurs tomorrow. I think that's the plan. So I'll see you guys tomorrow for that Spurs offseason rebuild. But this is Crushables. I'm saying peace. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you click here to watch another video that I know you'll love.